Hello YouTube. Today we are in Caraway, Ireland. We have come out here with Father Coran and we are having dinner. Some people have invited us out to their house. Just gonna show you where we are real quick. They have a, this is just outside of Galway. I'll put a map in there, but basically this is their little house. This is out in the part of the country where they have all of the fences made out of real stone, and you can see there's just a sea of these natural stone fences. It's extremely pretty, and if we just walk this way a little bit, they're just right up on a little hill on the coast, and so this is basically the view from their patio. And then we just come right up here, and then here's the house. So we've been out here most of the day. We drove out of Galloway and started heading into Cong, and then right now we're in Carrow. One of the really interesting things is as we're driving through all these country roads, we're seeing all these natural built fences, the ones they built out of rocks. And I was just thinking about the extreme amount of effort that it would have taken to build a fence out of stones, and why they had to do it is on the west side of Ireland they don't really have this. On the east side of Ireland the ground's pretty soft, but in the west side of Ireland the ground is very rocky. So when these farmers would come in, basically the ground would just be full of rocks. So they had to get the rocks out of the field, and then they needed something to do with them, so they stacked them up in a very special way, and they created all these fences. An extreme amount of work. I can't just even imagine how hard that would be to do. But it's very interesting why they had to do it. They had to do it because they had to get rid of all the rocks, so they stacked them up into these nice rows. And some of these properties have just tons and tons and tons of rocks and tons of little fences, so it's been very pretty. Another thing we did is, well, before we were leaving Galway, we drove around and we saw the coast a little bit. We saw a little bit of the marina, and then we stopped by the cathedral, and the cathedral is absolutely just beautiful. The cathedral has some of the most beautiful Stations of the Cross. They are all carved out of stone. They're huge. They're life-size Stations of the Cross, these stone figures. They come from stone that comes from Ireland. All the floor on the marble on the cathedral, it all comes from local. It reminds me of St. Anne's in Capel, where we had the baccalaureate mass for my graduation, in that it's one of those churches where the altar is in the center, and then the seats are all off to the sides, and it's a 360 church, so there is no kind of front and back. The church, or the altar, is in the middle, and then all of the different seating sections are off on four sides. And then the coolest part about this whole entire church is probably, well, at least to me, I thought the coolest part about this church was the part where they have John F. Kennedy in the wall. That really is John F. Kennedy, and John F. Kennedy, they built this church in the 60s, so in the 60s when they were building this church, JFK liked to come over to Ireland, and he came to Galway, and he donated a lot of money to this church to have it built, or this cathedral to have it built. So it's very cool that he got his little statue, and he's kind of praying up, and he's looking towards Jesus, so I thought that was just very cool. Anyways, we have done a little bit of celebrating Father Coran's birthday. Just done some beautiful driving through the country. The farther west and more towards the coast we have gone, the more and more pretty rocks and all the stone fences that we've seen. I shot a little bit of that with a Canon. You can zoom and it probably looks a lot better, and I'll show you some of that. But it is just really pretty and picturesque out here in Ireland. I can't believe that this part of the world really still exists. Everyone here is burning little fires in their homes. They have little fireplaces. It's cold, it's misting, it's about 55 degrees. It's not very warm at all. Another really cool thing that they do here in Ireland is the way that they do their fireplaces. A lot of these little houses are burning fireplaces for obvious reasons. It's really cold. but they don't burn it in using wood like we do in the US. They burn it using peat. And peat is a soil that naturally burns in the ground, and they pack it real tight, and so you basically get these kind of these lumps or these nuggets just like coal, except it's peat. And so peat's really cool because it's a renewable resource. They can grow it again and again and again, but they don't burn wood, they burn peat. So they're having these fireplaces using completely peat. Apparently it's more environmentally friendly than coal. It's actually easier to start and stop a fire with peat than it is with wood, because they'll burn their peat fire in the day, and then the peat, as it burns, it creates ashes. They just take a little bit of those ashes, put it right on top of the fire, puts it out, and then, but at the coals, they stay really warm, so they just throw some more peat on it the next morning. Fire gets going really quick, really fast, and I just thought it's so cool. I've never heard of anybody who actually uses who does a fireplace without using wood, so I thought that using peat was really cool and interesting. And then right over here, I'll just show you, this is one of the little cottages where we've been having a special little birthday dinner for Father Quran, what some of this looks like. I mean, it is a real little Irish cottage. It's got 3 rooms inside. It's not very big. It's got a fireplace in the center.